Join us as we dive into our obsession with true crime, history, and mysterious stories. Each Corrupted Clip episode is less than 30 minutes long, providing you with the perfect bite-sized content to get you through the day.
We assume no responsibility or liability for any errors or omissions in the content of this episode. The Corrupt Podcast is based on the facts and our opinions of the case. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Corrupt Podcast.
In the early morning hours of February 8th, 2002, Jamie Lynn Stickle was found dead in her Jeep Wrangler. A cherished member of the LGBTQ community, her death has led to a hunt for answers for more than 2 decades. You can support this podcast by joining the Corrupt crew at patreon.com/corruptpodcast. Behind the scenes, ad-free, and early listening awaits you. You can also make a one-time contribution to our PayPal. Both links are available in the episode notes.
We received mail from our listener, Seth. He sent us a really nice note and 2 books with unsolved cases from Pennsylvania and Ohio. Jamie's story is from one of those books titled Who Killed... Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania by Jack Swint. Thank you so much, Seth, for supporting our podcast.
Thank you, Seth. You're the best.
Jamie Lynn Stickle was born on April 1st, 1968 in the town of Uniontown, Pennsylvania. With 2 sisters and a brother, Jamie was described as a kind-hearted tomboy. In high school, she was the only girl on the school's basketball team.
In the 1990s, Jamie followed a longtime girlfriend and moved to Pittsburgh. She immediately fell in love with the city, and it took no time for her to make friends. Over the years, she took multiple jobs at bars and restaurants, beginning at Images Bar in 1990 and leaving as a manager in 2000. That year, she found a job at Sidekick's gay restaurant and bar, which was located in the downtown area. Jamie was upbeat, caring, and a popular bartender in the Pittsburgh LGBTQ community.
Using her bartender position, Jamie was always running a campaign for different charities. One February, she cut out hearts from construction paper and sold them for $1, and every penny went for AIDS research. Another time, Jamie helped raise money to buy a headstone and cover funeral expenses for a 28-year-old customer who had died from a heart attack. According to the news outlet Q Berg, Jamie was
a very connected, active, and respected figure in the LGBTQ+ community of Pittsburgh.
Those who knew Jamie can't imagine anyone wanting to harm her, but that's exactly what happened on the early morning of February 8th, 2002.
33-year-old Jamie had worked the late-night bar closing shift that Friday night. After closing up Sidekicks, Jamie headed out to do some downtown bar hopping. Sidekicks was located at 931 Liberty Avenue. From there, she walked just 400 feet to another bar, this one located at 818 Liberty Avenue called Pegasus. At 1:15 a.m., Jamie was seen leaving Pegasus. She walked back down Liberty Avenue a little over 500 feet to the House of Tilden nightclub.
Jamie was visibly intoxicated when she attempted to enter the House of Tilden, and they turned her away. It was at that time she hopped in her Jeep Wrangler and tried to back out of her parking space. Pegasus and Sidekick's owner, Scott Noxon, was walking by when he saw Jamie trying to back out of a tight parking spot.
She was sort of stuck in, and it was like, okay, back up left and right, and I got her out of the lot and we waved, and I said, I'll see you tomorrow.
Just an hour later at 3:47 a.m., a call was received about a vehicle on fire near the George Warhalla scrapyard on the north side of the 16th Street Bridge.
The vehicle was fully engulfed in flames by the time the fire department arrived. It was Jamie's 2-door Jeep Wrangler with Jamie still inside. The fire was so intense, the firefighters wouldn't know that she was inside until after the flames were put out. Even then, investigators were unsure if the body was male or female.
The Jeep Wrangler suffered the most damage from the cabin area to the hatch. The rear portion of the vehicle was melted down to the frame, leaving only 2 taillights and a portion of one tire was left. The front end area suffered less damage, indicating the fire did not start in the engine.
The police department treated the investigation as a homicide immediately. Jamie rented the second-floor apartment over the scrapyard office, and her SUV was parked right in front of the apartment door. Money, mace, and lipstick were all scattered around the apartment doorstep. There was also a trail of blood from the apartment door to Jamie's Jeep, including on the Jeep door handle.
The next day, a scrapyard employee would be interviewed by a Pittsburgh CBS news station. He suspected it was Jamie because she lived above the scrapyard and drove a Jeep. He was right, of course, but it took 2 more days for dental records to confirm the body in the Jeep was 33-year-old Jamie Stickle.
There was a considerable amount of blood outside the vehicle, but Jamie's remains were so severely burned that it was impossible to know what happened to cause the blood loss. There was no sign of trauma to her body, so she wasn't stabbed or shot before her death. The coroner found that Jamie had died from smoke inhalation. We don't know if she was conscious when she was placed back in the Jeep, or if she had been alive when the Jeep was set on fire.
Based on the trail of blood and her scattered belongings, it would appear that Jamie had parked the Jeep and walked up to her apartment door when she was attacked in front of her door and dragged back to the Jeep. The damage to her body was so extensive, the coroner wasn't comfortable classifying her death as a homicide, so undetermined was used instead.
During the investigation, friends told police that Jamie and a longtime girlfriend had just broken up that week. Jamie was now living at the apartment with just her dog, a Shih Tzu. Police checked with the ex-girlfriend first, but she had been living with her parents since the breakup, and her parents confirmed that she was home with them the entire evening, giving her a solid alibi. Jamie was buried at the Park Place Cemetery in Uniontown, Pennsylvania, on February 13, 2002. Many of Jamie's Pittsburgh friends made the hour drive to Uniontown to pay their respects, giving the procession more than 40 cars.
The LGBTQ community came together for Jamie. 2 days after her funeral, more than 20 people held a candlelight vigil outside of her apartment. Then headed by the businesses Jamie had worked for in Pittsburgh over the years. Buttons bearing the message "United for Jamie" were sold for $5 each. All donations were put into a reward fund for information, legal fees, and a private investigator. Downtown businesses held the Lighting of Liberty event to celebrate Jamie's life by lighting 48 candles on Liberty Avenue. More buttons were sold, raising the reward fund to more than $18,000 in 6 months.
At the same time, police were actively investigating Jamie's death. A toxicology report was received, but the information has been kept private. The arson squad and insurance experts teamed up to inspect Jamie's Jeep. They confirmed no accelerant was used, and that the fire did not start in the vehicle cab. Based on photos, it would appear that the fire started in the hatch area of the Jeep. We'll post a photo of Jamie's Jeep on our socials and our Patreon, so you can see the damage for yourself. But the fire really looks like it starts in like the gas tank or gas cap area. Like maybe something was put in the gas cap area on fire and it just lit. The rear portion of the vehicle is really damaged, and then the hood area, not so much.
Yeah, the rear part, you can clearly see the tires are completely melted.
Yeah, they're gone.
And then the front part, they're semi-okay.
Yeah, the tires are okay. The wheels are still there. It looks like the front fender, maybe the Jeep was like a tan or a yellow color. Whereas if you just looked at the back portion, you would never even know what color the Jeep had been.
Yeah. In 2004, a billboard requesting information on Jamie's death was placed at the 16th Street Bridge, but it generated no new leads. The case went cold except for Jamie's friends and family working for justice. 5 years after her death, both Pegasus and Sidekicks were selling buttons again as a way to increase the reward money. The sales helped to increase the reward fund to $20,000.
Back in November 2002, Jamie's landlord had made a disturbing discovery. When Maria Warhola began cleaning and removing Jamie's belongings from the apartment, she found Jamie's work keys on top of the refrigerator. Maria reported the keys to the police department, who picked up the keys as evidence. The discovery of Jamie's keys alters the timeline. If Jamie had been inside of her home and tossed the keys on top of the fridge, why would she have gone back outside? Jamie's hair had also been found in the door, like the door was shut with her hair still trapped in the door. At 3 a.m., I doubt she was opening the door to a stranger if they knocked. This leads me down the path that it was someone she knew or an acquaintance that attacked her when she opened that door. Without the keys on the fridge, it initially seemed like she had been attacked on her way from the car to the apartment. Now we're thinking maybe she had been in the apartment and opened that door back up, and then somehow her hair got stuck in the door. So that does kind of seem to support the fact that the door was opened at some point.
Is Maria related to somebody at the scrapyard? Because wasn't that the scrapyard's name?
Maria is George's wife. So they both own the scrapyard. They rent the apartment out.
It could have been either or. Somebody that she knew or somebody that just attacked her that she didn't know. Honestly, my mind's going both ways.
Well, and Jamie's mother, Marge, shed some doubt that Jamie ever made it into the apartment at all. In a 2005 interview, Marge said that the police also don't believe Jamie ever made it inside. So maybe Jamie just had 2 sets of keys.
Isn't that something you would think that Scott would be able to answer?
I would assume so. Would it be typical for the bar manager to have 2 sets of work keys? I feel like you only have 1 set of work keys. You don't usually have 2 sets.
I've never been a bar manager, so I don't know the answer to that question, but I would assume so.
Yeah, so Maria says, hey, I found these keys, but Marge says, I don't think that those were the right keys. So there's a little bit of back and forth there.
There are really 2 theories about Jamie's death. It may have been an accident or murder. The trail of blood and her belongings scattered outside the apartment door supports the theory that Jamie was murdered. Her recent ex-girlfriend had an alibi with her parents, but let's be honest, they wouldn't be the first parents to provide a false alibi. It's also possible that someone was hired to attack Jamie, and this is the theory former Pittsburgh police detective Joe Myers thinks is the most likely.
Jamie's death could have also been a robbery gone wrong. Maybe the attacker saw a drunk woman alone and took the opportunity to try and rob her. It could have gone sideways, resulting in Jamie being injured, so they placed her in the Jeep and started a fire from the gas tank. Another theory is that Jamie was a well-known LGBTQ supporter, and her death could have been a targeted hate crime against the community.
Jamie's death is listed as undetermined and not homicide, so there is a very real possibility that she died in a tragic accident. We know that she was very drunk when she tried to gain access to the House of Tilden Club, and she was undoubtedly driving when she shouldn't have been. It's possible that Jamie passed out in the Jeep when a fire occurred, and it led to her death from smoke inhalation. I feel like the trail of blood, though, from her apartment door to the Jeep, that's good evidence right there. That she went to her door at least, maybe not inside yet, but to her door and was dragged or whatever, went back to the Jeep.
I agree. Unless maybe she was, maybe she was drunk, she fell, she had her purse out and things scattered. Money was found outside the apartment door. So if it was a robbery, they did a really bad job at it because they didn't even take the money that was laying right there outside of her apartment. Mm-hmm. Maybe she fell, hit her head, knew that she needed help, so she got back in her Jeep. But then it would have to be just so many what ifs. what if she fell? What if she hit her head? What if she gets back in the Jeep and passes out? And then what if the Jeep catches on fire by itself and she dies of smoke inhalation? Like, there's just too much that's too far-fetched.
Well, can't people determine how the fire started in the first place? Like what you mentioned, like if something was shoved or stuffed in, the gas tank, or did she smoke? Was she a smoker? Did a cigarette start it?
Right. Like, did the Jeep have a gas leak, a significant gas leak, and there was a cigarette involved, or she lit a cigarette in there? I couldn't find if she was a smoker. I looked into that because I'm like, well, maybe she accidentally set the fire. The only thing we know is that there was no accelerant used, but it definitely seems like arson. And this definitely seems like a homicide. Jamie and her family deserve justice and answers. During her decade in Pittsburgh, Jamie helped raise money for breast cancer awareness,
the Pittsburgh AIDS Task Force,
the Mon Valley AIDS Task Force,
the Shepherd Wellness Community, the Pittsburgh AIDS Walk,
and the Pittsburgh Multiple Sclerosis Society to provide information regarding the death of Jamie Stickle. You can call the Pittsburgh Homicide Squad at 412-323-7161, and we will list that in our episode notes as well. We would love for you to become part of the Corrupt crew. You can find us on Patreon with multiple tiers and PayPal. This will score you our appreciation and will announce your name in a future episode. Both links are in the episode notes. Case suggestions and feedback can be emailed to us at corruptpod@gmail.com.
The sources for this episode would be listed in the episode notes. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. Don't forget to subscribe to catch our new Corrupt content. Please also leave us a review wherever you're listening to this episode. Bye.
Bye.